All right, Leo, welcome to your yearly 2018 Sidereal Astrology forecast. So this video is for Sidereal Astrology. The signs are different from mainstream, so if you are following mainstream astrology, be sure to check out the link down below. We're using the actual size of the constellations, which does change the signs in this system. And you do want to make sure you're watching this for your correct signs. So if you are new, also check out the birth chart calculator down below to find out what your sidereal sun, moon, and ascendant signs are, because I do recommend watching all three to get a more holistic picture for the year. All right, so this year, Leo, we do have some emphasis here on your third house of communication. This area likely expanding, learning a lot about this area, maybe it being emphasized this year, and really good for learning in general. You know, third house is about learning, reading, writing, sharing, exchanging with others. All of this kind of stuff is the high point. Now, the other area that's being emphasized is your self-expression, although this is where Saturn is, so it's likely a little bit more on a serious connotation. Fifth house is the house of everything we're passionate about. It's the house of us expressing ourselves, whatever the medium might be, and it's that creative life force energy. But when Saturn comes in here, all the stuff we're normally passionate about get a bit serious. But this is good because Saturn is going to help you build these things that are close to your heart for the long term, or that are a form of self-expression for the long term. All right, so we'll look at this and some of the other things we've got going on this year here in just a minute when we return. All right, Leo, so here's your chart for the year. We've got Jupiter down here in the third house of learning and communication, expanding that area. Should be plenty of opportunities throughout the year here with that. Saturn in your fifth house of self-expression, great area to be patient with and to build this area one step at a time. Now, this is a very general reading, so if you would like a specific look with your personal chart, I am giving a 20% off readings if you're watching this video, and there's a link down below this video and at the end of it if you are interested in that more specific look and 20% off. All right, so let's look at these months one by one. We do have January 16th, Jupiter sextiling up to Pluto. So synergy here going on between these two areas we just discussed. Now, Pluto has been already in your fifth house since 2007, so about the past 10, 11 years. And this has been transforming your self-expression. It's been helping you become more non-attached with it and to be more non-attached to the things that are close to your heart. And so now it's in very good energy flow. There's good support here where you could be breaking some patterns, facing some fears maybe with that fifth house. And likewise, it's supporting your communication. So this is, these are two areas that are kind of like communication. The third is definitely, but the fifth is kind of like that. It's our self-expression. So some of you could be linking this up. Maybe passion for writing, maybe public speaking, maybe creating business or something like that, which is the sharing of the third house. So whatever it is, though, very good synergy between this, very empowering with this aspect. It's at least an opening for that. And I think you could see some positive results by putting energy into these things. So January 16th, it's the first aspect, starting something new here with this, especially because on the 16th, actually, we do have a new moon in Sagittarius. So there could be specifically a new beginning with your self-expression or with romance, passion, creativity, whatever's close to your heart. So sit with this mid-January, see what new is shaping up here, because I think this is a very important area of the year, and it does start in January. All right, so at the end of the month, on the 31st, we do have a lunar eclipse that is going to be in Cancer. So technically in your 12th house, so there might be some awareness about spirituality, about getting some rest or more acceptance in your life, or getting more in touch with your spiritual self or your deep psyche to, again, find peace. And that's really a great way of working with the year anyways, seeing where you can put energy into this area, more rest, spirituality, whatever it is. But what I think is going to be the high point at the end of January will likely be with everything you've been working on these past 2 years, really, which is about your goals, having more independence in your life, more autonomy, more confidence, more self-assertiveness, because you're clear now in terms of who you are, what you want. You're more independent. So this is all coming to a high point here. If late January, but even February, March, these first few months of the year, because the North Node is finishing your sign. And usually when the North Node finishes, it's some sort of completion with that area. And this is the house of self, it's the house of goals and the things you want in life. So very good there. February 15th, we do have a solar eclipse in your 6th house. So while things are, like I said, shifting for you to find more peace, I think part of this is also being that this year there might be some things that might be imbalanced with your work or your routine that you want to bring some more balance with, or maybe there's some unhealthy patterns you want to release or things you want to release with this area. So great time to see what in mid-February is coming up here is maybe calling you to do some of this releasing and bringing it back into healthy balance. And to set some intentions with it, it's a 6-month cycle. So, I mean, in 6 months, we'll have the high point with it. So end of July, there will be a full moon. I'll talk about that here in just a few minutes, but there will be a culmination later. So setting some new intentions with bringing balance back to your day-to-day. Now, April 14th, Jupiter sextiles Pluto for the 2nd time. Again, good energy flow between the communication and learning with the self-expression and creative life force. If you're not sure what this was pertaining to back in January, if January comes around, you're not exactly sure what this is, I think you will be aware of what this is pertaining to by mid-April. And it'll be an excellent time to then develop this stuff from April for pretty much the rest of the year of developing this connection between those two key areas. And could even be opportunities with any of these areas, opportunities to again learn or share or trade or exchange, as well as anything in that passion or self-expression sector. Now, April 15th, we do have a new moon in Pisces. So it will be conjunct Uranus, which has been emphasized over the past 8 years of the fact that, 8 years, there's been this newfound freedom of vulnerability, of getting deep, of transformation, of letting go of fears, and just really breaking patterns. And so I think this is a whole new beginning with this, with the conjunction up to Uranus, setting another step in the right direction having to do with that mid-April. Now, May 25th, we have Jupiter trining Neptune. Jupiter's in very good aspect this year, and in this case, trining Neptune of your 7th house of relationships. So the past also 10 years with this, Neptune in your 7th has been maybe muddling some things with relationships, maybe creating uncertainty about it, but now it's in very good flow. I think there's positive hopefulness. I think there's inspiration. I think there's this awareness how relationships unfold in a divine process, and maybe some new beginnings. Maybe there were some new beginnings back in December about relationships, December 2017, that now are taking on another direction here, May 25th. Or maybe this is when it starts to make a little more sense as to what this is pertaining to. But again, it's linking up very good your willingness to learn, your communication with those relationships, and vice versa. All right, so June 28th, we do have a full moon. It is going to be in Sagittarius. So like I was saying, this area of self-expression is emphasized. And by June 28th, there is a now culmination of the self-expression. Great time to do a status check. Great time to see that some things have completed here. You've developed some things here with passions, fun, romance, kids, creativity, entrepreneurship, whatever you've been building here, taking seriously, now comes to a semi-completion. Now, like I said, you're still going to be developing this area for the next couple years, but one step in the right direction and completion in some sense, June 28th. Now, July 12th, we do have a partial solar eclipse. It is going to be in Gemini. I don't think it's anything major. The solar eclipses in the summer are very partial, but there could be some new beginnings, maybe with friends or community, things like that around mid-July. Then July 27th, we do have a lunar eclipse in that 6th. So we were talking about how starting in that February time, there was some new beginnings with bringing balance back to your day-to-day. So now the lunar eclipse is the high point of this. You're going to notice some things you did bring back into balance. Great, you've released. There's more health here, but there's also maybe some more work to do. So the next 6 months after this, for the rest of the year, good to do that, to pivot and shift and continue to, again, bring balance back to this area if you're noticing anything that needs that. Partial solar eclipse on August 11th in your sign of Leo. Again, more steps in the right direction in terms of your autonomy, your independence, more assertiveness, you being who you are in the world. Very good there. And August 19th, Jupiter trines Neptune for the last time. So in the summertime, we have a lot of completion energy. And this one is the completion with that depth, or excuse me, with the relationships we were talking about, that more receptive approach there, spiritual connection. Some of you having spiritual connections with relationships this year, but that linking up very good and completing it in many ways. And maybe even too, completing some of the learning or communication stuff that's been expanding for you. In fact, probably, if not then, by September 12th, again, this late summertime, this completion with Jupiter sextiling Pluto, the last aspect with this. So that's closing that cycle with what has been expanding, will continue to expand, but in this context with communication and learning. And then also too with that depth, or excuse me, with your self-expression. So you're going to continue to be working on your self-expression, but there could be some more completion here with this. And, you know, again, anything you're passionate about, very good there for the solidification by the end of summer. All right, so October 24th, we have a full moon, which is going to be with that Uranus. Like we were saying in April, there are some new beginnings with depth, intimacy, openness, and that being all freeing, right? And so now it's a high point with this, completion with that October 24th, and maybe even some completion with anything you might be involved with, travel or adventure, things like that could be at a high for you also. So November 4th, we have Jupiter going into Scorpio. This is your 4th house. We'll be expanding now your home sector, your health, your family life, foundations, roots, things like this going into 2019. So that's where the emphasis will be. And there will be a lot to learn about these roots. And in fact, could be some new beginnings this year. December 7th, we have a new moon in Scorpio, which could be setting some new seeds, literally. Like the 4th house is like the earth, planting new seeds in terms of your foundations, your home, your location, things like that. Could be taking you into the new year at the end of this year. All right, so have a great year. Leo, thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, please let me know. There is that link for 20% off if you'd like a more specific look, but wishing you the very best. And I'll see you all very soon for the next forecast. Take care.